this, I'll send out the replay as well. Let's make sure. Okay, so our session this evening is the writing factor, and it's for you to go from idea and thoughts in your head to written and published book in your hand. So how to get started without feeling overwhelmed and without throwing in the towel even before you begin. Hopefully this sounds familiar. So I really appreciate you joining me here tonight. As a bonus, I'm giving away my guide so that you can go from feeling frustrated and stuck to writing and making progress. So if you want a copy, please stick around until the very end and I'll tell you how to get your very own copy, my writing guide, so that you can go from feeling stuck to published. Don't worry about taking notes in the beginning. I do have an activity towards the end. Right now, as we go forward, I'll just be sharing information with you, strategies, and again, I will open it up with Q&A as well. So the objectives of this session is for you to understand and know your why. I will share tips for getting unstuck so that you can get in the mode and the framework of writing. I'll share time management techniques with you and also share with you information about identifying your target audience. So before we continue, I want you to let the information sink in and share your questions towards the end. Just take it all in for now. Identify where you are in your writing journey. So whether you're just starting out, whether you have some information or content written and just feeling stuck, or if you're further along in the writing process. So as I talk through, again, just take a mental note, self-reflect on where you are in the writing process. So my promise to you is that you'll leave the training session understanding your why. You'll feel motivated to start or continue writing. You'll know who you're writing for, which is your target audience. And then again, as a bonus, I'm going to do a quick activity with you towards the end. So first and foremost, does this sound familiar to you? Do you have an idea and desire to write a book, but not sure how to begin? Sound familiar? Do you find it difficult turning the ideas in your head into words on paper? Do you have content written but confused about how to get it organized? Or are you tired of putting it off and ready to just get it done? So the one thing that you need to know is that books won't just write themselves, believe it or not. A professional writer is an amateur who didn't quit. That's it. So once you start writing, just keep writing. That's it. So if you're like most people, you know you deserve to get it done. You want it. As a matter of fact, it's been a desire of yours for quite some time. But the usual way just won't work anymore. The usual way of going about trying to carve out time, trying to figure out the thoughts in your head, trying to get it down, to a science, trying to figure out your flow, your zen, just the motivation. So it won't work anymore. And I just want to put this bug in your ear. The game has officially changed. Yes, you've connected with me, and so the game has changed. And so as an introduction, before we get started, I wanted to share with you who I am. So my name is Tamara Mitchell Davis. I am the founder and CEO of the Writers Academy for Wives. I work with women who are interested in writing and publishing a book. I am an Amazon best-selling author, a goal coach. I am an MBA graduate, an adjunct business professor, a full-time administrator, and I have over 15 years in education, workforce development, and corporate America. And just recently, this year in April, I was an EPIC ambassador with Master Coach Abrielle Frank. So if you're not familiar with her, you can look her up, Google her as well. I'm also a merchandiser. So with the birth of my first book, I started a brand line that's inspirational, motivationally geared and driven towards women who are interested in pursuing their goals, making accomplishments, just leaving their mark in the world. And I'm also philanthropically driven. So I do dedicate my time to, fundraisers and community events that are near and dear to my heart. And so specifically the fight against cancer and juvenile diabetes. My daughter is 14 now, but at the age of 10, she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And so therefore, I am in search of a cure. So I also raise funds for that and, organize walks and just, put my energy and efforts into those areas. So here are just some of platforms that I've been featured on, and local newspapers, whether it's print media, radio, television, and some are listed here. I won't go through and name them all, but as you can see, it's just a list here on for a visual for you. So here is the confession that I want to share with you. So I was, as an author, I was struggling too. So I doubted myself. I doubted my ability to write. I questioned who would want to read my story and even support me. So I had some of the same questions and fears that the majority of women come to me for. They're just inexperienced about the doubt and they feel overwhelmed. So I was spinning my wheels literally for years. I had a book inside of my head for almost 8 years. I was concerning myself with things further down the road, so like editing and publishing, rather than just committing to the writing process. Not knowing initially that in order for me to get to those phases, I first need to have my manuscript written. So the end result, basically, I was confused, I was frustrated, I was overwhelmed. I wanted to succeed, but I didn't know what to do. So if you've ever been confused, overwhelmed about writing and publishing a book, and just ideas escape you as well, here's the turning point. This is the turning point for me. I decided to learn from the successful people without losing myself. I decided to commit to a real system and not quit until I saw the results. And what happened next was rather unexpected. My life changed forever, literally. So my stress level dropped. I became a best-selling author, started my own business, secured speaking engagements, to name a few. And I say that I accidentally got opportunities to shine using some of my hidden talents. Why? Because as I initially shared with you, I doubted myself. I doubted my abilities. I had everything in my head, but it was not coming onto paper. Raising a family, being a wife, a mom, I felt guilty taking away, running home, you got to cook, it's other things that you need to do. I would feel guilty coming home, sitting down to write rather than tending to some of my other responsibilities. And then once I figured out that I could do both, again, that was a game changer for me. So the only pathway to lasting success is to stop chasing opportunities and start attracting them. Stop doing too much and start doing the right stuff. So here's why this is important. I've helped numerous people get clear on their writing goals, spark their creative juices to not only get started, but to finish. So I want to help you get the same results, clarity, understanding, so you can write your manuscript, get published, and build from there, exactly as I have done. So now we will get started. So first, I want you to consider your why. So what's your reasoning for wanting to write a book? Is it to create value? Is it to leave a legacy for your family? Is it for instant credibility, impact, or influence? Do you wish to make a contribution to the world? Are you exploring opportunities to create an additional stream of income? Are you interested in starting a business with your book? Secure speaking engagements, or maybe plan live conferences? There's so much that you can do, but I first want you to understand and know what your why is to begin with. Because knowing your why will help you get motivated even those times when you may experience writer's block. So understand what your why is. Is it to impact the lives of others? Is it to have some validity on the world? Is it the legacy that you wish to leave behind when you are no longer here on earth? So a book is just that, because when we're long gone and the time has passed, this is something that will still remain. So how to get unstuck? What is stuck? So when I think of the word stuck, I automatically visualize someone stuck in traffic, stuck in the mud. They're not moving, they're frozen. And then if I expand that even further, I think of being stuck in a situation when you don't see how to move out, you don't see a way of escape. But being stuck is not permanent unless you choose it to be. So what is your why? Is it, the motivation, the goal, the excitement, the enthusiasm? So here are some suggestions and tips on how to get unstuck. Remember why you started. What's the reason why you want to write a book? And I explored some of those examples before. Other things to consider as examples. Now, here are some strategies. So if you are starting to write a book and you're feeling stuck, or if you have some content written but experiencing writer's block, here are some strategies and tips for you. You begin with the end in mind. So what does that mean? How do you want your story to end? You start there, and then you reverse engineer. Work your way backwards. That's it. So you know how you want it to end, but what are some steps in place that you can put in place leading to the end? That's one example. Another example is to give yourself a deadline. So oftentimes, if we give ourselves deadlines, we put something on our calendar to say, this is our dead stop date. This is it. This is, when you need to have X, Y, and Z done. If you give yourself a deadline, it will give you an opportunity to monitor your progress along the way. So if you say, okay, by the end of, this month, I want to have 500, words written for my book, and you see a week out that you're nowhere near that, it gives you an opportunity to pick up the pace so that you can meet your deadline. You want to eliminate distractions. So when you get ready to write, if you're just starting out, or even if you're somewhere in between, you want to eliminate the distractions. So don't check your emails, don't have your cell phone ringing and vibrating next to you. Log off Facebook, log off Instagram. Don't go on Pinterest getting ideas about things, that you can do in the garden. You want to eliminate distractions and also change your environment. So you want to go where writers write. And what I mean by where writers write, you want to maybe go to a library or a coffee shop. And these are all examples. So if you find that your current environment just, doesn't allow you to focus and concentrate, you want to find the space and the time so that you're able to get it done. So for me, sitting down in the house, I'm thinking about laundry, cooking, the children, what I need to do tomorrow. But when I went to the library or I went to a local coffee shop, I knew time was limited. Eventually, they would close. There were only so many cups of coffee I could drink. So therefore, I went intentionally, purposefully to sit down and get some information down on paper. Another example is to free write. So that's just a form of brainstorming. Just write what comes to mind. So if you have an idea or a topic that you wish to write about, you just brainstorm. Anything and everything that comes to mind, you write it down. So when you're focused in that free writing or brainstorming space, you're eliminating the doubt, you're eliminating the frustration, you're eliminating the overwhelm because you're just writing freely. You're not trying to organize, you're not trying to make sure it's grammatically correct, you're not revising, you're just writing any and everything that comes to mind. Another strategy is just to step away. So if you find yourself, extremely frustrated, you want to take a break, right? Because when you're sitting down and you're frustrated, guess what? You're only thinking about that frustration. Why can't I get this done? What's wrong with me? Why am I in this space? Maybe it's not for me to do it. You're questioning everything. You're feeling bad, maybe confused, overwhelmed. So take a walk, let your mind relax, and if need be, phone a friend. I've done that numerous times. What you also want to do is create a book outline. So, creating a book outline, there are multiple tips and strategies for creating a book outline, and I go more in depth with a book outline in the actual Writers Academy, because there are several ways that you can outline a book. And even with the list here, these are all suggestions, strategies, they're tips. It's no concrete, cookie cutter method. You have to try out and decide what works for you. What's the best fit for you? So some examples of creating a book outline: you could start with index cards. You could do an activity that's called Walk the Line. That's another way to do a book outline. And basically, you're just getting in touch, with yourself, spiritually, emotionally, visually, just getting ideas and thoughts out of your head. That's an example. That's a strategy. You could do a mind map. You could also do a wall grid. And again, these are different techniques. It's not concrete. Each individual, each writer, aspiring author needs to try out different strategies to see what works for them. But again, the different techniques I cover more in depth in the Writers Academy. Another example you could do, or strategy, you could prepare a PowerPoint. So believe it or not, and I tried this myself, so I know it works. So when you're writing a book and you get stuck, you could create a PowerPoint, right? Like, you're standing up presenting at a workshop and you need to share this information. If you prepare a PowerPoint, you need to put information on the PowerPoint so it can help spark some ideas by saying, okay, what do I wish to share with those who are attending this workshop? What do I need to speak about? What do I need to cover? What do I need to teach them? What do I need to show them? So that's another way. You'll just act as if you're presenting the PowerPoint and you're creating it from beginning to end. Another strategy is to do a knowledge audit. And basically what that means is you would have ideas in your head or knowledge or intellectual capacity already, but then you consider and think about what needs to be researched, or what experiences can you relate to your book. Another example with the knowledge audit is figuring out who in your community or who around you can relate to the topic at hand. So my last book is titled Goodbye Fear, Hello Destiny. And so I wanted a perspective of some, individuals in my community and different groups that I was in. So I put a poll together on Facebook in this group and asked them to define a certain word. And based on their responses, I asked for their permission. I shared their responses, and I just added more of my content and information to it to provide my perspective, my experience, and relate it to what they had shared. So again, these are all examples, strategies. You try them out, see what works and what's a good fit for you. So now we're going into time management. So as I said to you before, you saw, I shared my bio with you. I'm very extremely busy. And when I would come home, sometimes I would feel guilty if I was doing, other things than what I felt I should be doing in the house. So I would set a timer, not only for things in the house, but I set a timer when it was time for me to write. And so with the timer, I would, give myself 30 minutes or give myself an hour or give myself 2 hours, depending on how much time I had, to say, okay, this time right here is dedicated solely to writing. I'm turning off the distractions. I'm making sure, the ringer is off on my phone. I'm not logged into Facebook and Instagram. I'm not doing all these other, things that will pull me away from what I'm focused on at that time. An accountability partner. So that's helpful not only in writing, but it's also helpful even when you're published. An accountability partner. So thinking about what you wish to do with this book. Do you want speaking engagements? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to start a t-shirt line? Having someone to bounce ideas off is great. right? So they know what you're striving to do. They can be a thought partner for you. And so therefore they will hold you accountable. If you pick the right accountability partner, I have accountability partner and she holds me accountable. If I say I'm launching this, if I say I plan to do this, she's checking in with me and we both ensure that each other, it's a two-way street. Each other is on task, on target to make sure that we're striving for and meeting our intended goal. So set a goal with a deadline. I shared this with you previously as far as establishing a deadline, but set a goal. So for instance, if you plan to write a book and, oftentimes you'll hear, is it possible to write a book in 30 days? Absolutely it is. It depends on your commitment and it depends on your goal. And I'm going to share another tip with you as far as writing a book in 30 days when we get towards the end. But you want to make sure that you have a goal and that you have a deadline attached to that goal. So yes, I can write 500 words a day or 1,000 words a week or 1,000 words a month. You have to decide what's realistic for you based on your schedule, based on the deadline, and then stay focused. What does staying focused mean? That means remembering your why, knowing what the end result is, knowing what it is that you wish to do and how you plan to do it. And then the last tip I want to share with you is tackle the hardest stuff first. So there's no tried and true solution. So we've heard tackle the hardest stuff first. For me, and I'm speaking from experience, for me, I had to tackle the easiest stuff first. Because by tackling the easiest things first, it gave me a sense of accomplishment and it motivated me to keep going. Think of a to-do list. If you have this long to-do list and you start checking things off your to-do list, you're like, oh, I'm getting this done. I'm finally, moving somewhere. I'm progressing. And so for me, for me, it's tackling the easiest, stuff first. For some others, it could be tackling the hardest things first. So maybe you want to get the hardest things out the way so then it could be smooth sailing thereafter. Again, there's just tips and strategies. So now I'm going into your target audience. I've shared with you tips to get unstuck. I shared with you time management techniques. I've talked with you about your why. And then your target audience is very crucial. This is a crucial piece. So a definition of the target audience is the intended audience or readership of a publication, advertisement, or other message. In marketing and advertising, it's a particular group of consumers within the predetermined target market identified as the targets or recipients for a particular advertisement or message. I know it was a mouthful. So we're going to get rid of the Webster definition. Basically, it's your reader. So your target audience is your reader, your client, your customer. Whatever word you want to attach to it, it's your reader. Who are you creating this book for? Now, your book isn't for everyone. Like, we want to think that, the book I create is for everyone in this entire world, and there's billions of people in this world. No, the book isn't for everyone. Your book is for a specific target audience, your readers. What you write will help them, will change their lives, will solve their problems. So you need to understand who your target audience is. You want to discover how to create pathways to serve your clients by writing a book, maybe having additional products and services that you offer. So you have to do some work and figure out who your target audience is. And here's ways that you can figure it out. So who are you writing your book for, right? Is it women, men? Is it children? Is it for, people in the medical field, doctors, lawyers? Are you writing it for, youth? Are you writing it for someone who hit, rock bottom and trying to make a comeback and you sharing your experience with them? Are you writing a book about goal setting? Are you you have to decide who you're writing your book for. That's why I said it's not for everyone. You have a target audience. You need to identify who your target audience is. What are their pain points? right? So I share with you initially some of those questions, like, do you feel frustrated? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you have ideas in your head and it's hard for you to get it on paper? I identified some of your pain points. And so you want to do the same thing with your target audience. And drilling into some of the pain points in your target audience is what we also cover in the Writers Academy. And it's specific to you and your book project. So understand your target audience. How do they feel about this specific topic? What are they currently doing to try to solve it? And what problem are you solving for them? Right? So someone picks up a book, they go down Barnes and Noble shelf, they're drawn by the front of the book cover, they read the back of the book cover, the summary, the blurb, and it speaks to them, right? You're sharing information with them, you're solving a problem with them. Something on the back of that book resonates with something in them. So what are you trying to solve or help them through or share information about with them that can enlighten or enhance their life? So this is my summary. I've shared with you the why, the tips to get unstuck in writing, the time management techniques, and the target audience. So now I'm going into the activity. I said from the beginning that I had an activity for you at the end. And so this is what I want you to think about. This is the activity. This is fairly quick, you know. Some may just be, you know, started. Some may have ideas in their head. Let me back that up. Some may have ideas in their head and don't have them on paper. Some may just have started writing, and some may already be writing and experiencing writer's block. So, regardless of where you are in your writing journey, identify what is your book about? What's the topic? What's the concept? Who are you writing the book for? Remember, your customer, your target audience. And the bonus, based on what the book will be about, list 3 things you can connect your subject matter of what your book will cover. So, as an example, I usually draw this out on my paper. When I write, I'll have my topic. So let's say, for instance, my first book was around, it's titled Goal Getter. And so my topic was around, you know, some obstacles and challenges that I faced growing up and how I managed to overcome and push through and break through. And I have infused in there goal setting. So my who would be my target audience. My book isn't for everyone. I'm speaking to women who have experienced or can identify with some of the same challenges that I experienced. So my number 1 for an outline could be listing out some of those pain points, identifying with where they are. What information could I provide to support that, right? So if this was an outline, again, number 1, number 2, number 3 would potentially be the title of your chapter. Or it could just be a topic you wish to talk about and relate to the concept, right? So I talked about the goal setting, the challenges, the struggles. So my A could be an experience. So I'm telling about an experience that I went through as a young adult, how I persevered, what happened, what did I, you know, do to overcome, how did I break through, who supported me, what were some resources. That could be my chapter 1. Or I could break the book down and start 1 with identifying what I went through. Chapter 2 could be some, you know, obstacles that I had to overcome. Chapter 3 could be after I overcame, what happened, what were some resources. So I just wanted to give you a sense and a guide of how my own personal experience, how I use my topics or my concept to break down the message that I want to share. So again, for the sake of the training, the webinar is to give you some quick tips, some quick strategies so that you can go from feeling stuck to published, and sharing with you what I've done, what has worked for me. And just so I'm a visual learner, so this is my visual for you. The topic, the concept, the who, your target audience, and then the 1, 2, and 3 could be your chapter titles, or it could be additional concepts, but then the A and B will be your supporting evidence. Is it a how-to? Is it an experience? Is it lessons learned? Is it just information? Is it research? And that's how you build out each chapter. Okay, so let me check here, see if anyone has any questions. Are there any questions? Nope, not yet. Okay, so I have a question for you. Now I'm gonna ask you to drop it in the chat area so that I can see it. And the chat at your toolbar at the bottom is an icon that says chat, right? So did what I share with you today provide value for you? Or did you learn one or more things from tonight's webinar that you can start to implement? So if that's the case, type yes or type 1. I know some are joining by phone and may not be able to type, but I just wanted to gauge where we are. Yes, Pamela, you have a question.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I learned a lot. Especially around focusing and getting focused and committed to the process of starting and finishing. I'm in a dilemma. I wrote a book already. Mm-hmm. It's an ebook on Amazon. And I didn't know how to promote it. I didn't know how to sell it. I wrote it. I had someone to edit it and publish it for me.
Okay.
It's an ebook. And so it's just sitting there. And then I learned later that I can republish it. I can rename it, revise it, and then give it a new cover, and then put it back out there and, start all over again with it. So I'm in the process of, adding some information to it, revising it. I'm going to get a new cover and get it back out there and then see how to promote it and sell it. At the same time, I have 3 other books. One is a book that was my first book that I never did anything with, but have the whole thing just sitting. And then I got this book and I was inspired to write that book. So I did that. And then I have 2 other things that I'm working on, two other books. And I don't know, I feel like I'm all over the place. Like I want to revise that one. And then one I feel really encouraged to get out there. And so I don't know what to do. I'm not doing anything. I just have a lot of information, a lot of notes, but just not moving.
Okay. So
I learned a lot of, maybe how to, it was a wealth of information that you shared. So thank you. Just knowing which way should I go? Should I focus on revising that one, getting that done? Now, when you said the 30 days, that was very helpful. I've heard it before and I thought, how? But, we have a deadline, like you say, a start date, and you commit to a deadline. Maybe I could, and I need to go somewhere else besides my house. I can't get things done in my house. And so that was very helpful. So that was just a confirmation that I need to get out of the house, go to the library, commit to some time. But what's your thoughts on when you have a lot of stuff going on like that?
So my thought initially, well, thank you for sharing where you are. And because you have multiple things going on, my advice to you is to pick which one you want to start with, because it will be challenging trying to do them all simultaneously. So see which one resonates with you the most, which one you want to pick up and start with, whether it's something that you haven't published. Do you want to start that, or do you want to take the one that was published and just rework it, reframe it, and republish it? So I would say, my advice to you is to think about your why. Go back to your why. Which one of your babies, your book projects, are you interested in launching first? And then consider, because you have multiple, maybe one could, lend itself to the next. So you could start off with book 1, I'm launching this or republishing this. And then after book 1, then here comes volume 2. It's connected to the same thing. the same concept? If it is, if not, then you just figure out and map out which one you want to start first, which one you want to start second.
Ooh, that's good.
Which the one that you start with the first, once you get down the framework of publishing, marketing, promoting, you get all of that down to a science, then you're able to implement everything that you've done with book one. You're able to see, okay, what worked well, what didn't work well, but you went through that process already. So now you understand and know, okay, what can I do for book two? What can I do differently for book three? Do I know who my audience is? Where is my audience? You know, our audience may not always be in social media world. Our audience can be in our community. Our audience could be, you know, somewhere internet in another country. We have to figure out where our audience is and who we're writing for. So first and foremost, I would encourage you to figure out which book you want to start with first, and then start planning from there.
Is another one more question, please. Is there a place where you can get feedback? You know, trusting friends and family to give you feedback wasn't helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a place where someone can say, good information, helpful, not good, vague, redundant, or, you know, something that'll say, you know, so that you don't make the same mistake twice in your second book? I know this is not like a marathon kind of thing, you know, but where do you get a source? How do you get?
Is it in regard to your content or in regard to your methods?
Maybe to my content, because method is, I mean, it's just chapters. It's chapters. It's, I just maybe it's maybe content. I'm thinking content, not method.
Okay. So for
I'm not even sure really.
Okay, so content, a way to get feedback on your content is what, you know, we often refer as alpha testers or beta testers. And basically you're finding people that you can trust, individuals who you can ask to read your book and provide information, that feedback to you. That's one. Another option could be your editor. So there are different levels, not levels, but editors can offer different services. And the services could be around developmental content. So what you have in your book, it could be just editing, you know, looking for, you know, punctuation and grammatical things. So there's different areas that editors can work with you on. And so you would want to identify or locate an editor who can help you in that area. So you want to get references from them, you know, talk to some of the people that they've worked with. You want to interview them as well to make sure it's a perfect fit. And I'll put in the link here, I'll share some information with you, because I'm actually interviewing an editor tomorrow. So you can, you know, join that call and get some of your questions answered as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I've shared with you all some information, exciting information. I just get excited when I hear that, you know, us women are writing and launching books and have so many books and ideas in our head and want to do so much with them. It really fuels my fire. So I'm excited. I'm thankful and grateful that you all have joined me here. So I have a question for you. I want to share with you information. I provided value for you today. Jai says that, you know, she's learned one or more things from tonight's webinar. And so I want to know, by an answer of yes, if I have your permission to share information about my upcoming Writers Academy. So if I have your permission, just type yes in the comments. You can raise your hand. I can see you. And I'll just, you know, give you some quick information about the Writers Academy. All right. So this is, thank you. So let me go back to sharing my screen. All right, so this is the Writers Academy. It's launching in July. I've had my first cohort come through already, and we have 30 openings available, 30 slots available. And so, Pamela, this is also a module that you may be interested in, all about marketing, or Amazon best-selling strategy in module 5 and 6. But I'm just going to talk you through all of them. So it's a 6 to 7 week program. The first week is basically just a welcome and introduction. I talk you through some of the myths around writing a book, publishing a book, answer your questions, and we lay the foundation for the next several weeks that we'll be working together. So module 1 is Elite Self-Awareness. The purpose of this module is to eliminate the feelings of doubt and overwhelmed. I went through it. I know it from like the back of my hand, being confused, feeling overwhelmed, maybe even procrastinating because you don't want to face it. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to do it, and time passes us by. So eliminate the feelings of doubt and overwhelm. You focus on your target audience. So you focus on your target audience. You need to know who you're writing to and for. Mind map to build and write the content. So I share with you how to break down like a book outline. This will be around content, getting the content, getting the ideas from your head to paper. Module 2 is quick wins. Like I suggested, I like to go with, checking things off the to-do list. So I, in particular, like to work with the easiest things first. So you'll learn and write and check off items from your book writing to-do list. So your foreword, your summary, your dedication page, your gratitude page, and so on and so forth. We go through and, again, immediately check off, items off the to-do list. Module 3 is the Author Summit. So what better way to know what works and what didn't work is from hearing from those who have done it, doing it, and excelling at it. So you'll hear from other best-selling authors, and it will get you motivated to finish. It will get you motivated to publish. It will get you motivated to market. It will get you motivated to build a business with your book. It will get you motivated to know how to protect your work. It will get you motivated because you'll hear from others who are doing the work. Module 4 is Judge a Book by its cover. So I've heard, don't judge a book by its cover. Absolutely wrong, false information. Definitely, when it comes to books, you want to judge a book by its cover. So you'll hear and learn from a graphic designer about book cover designs, titles, subtitles. We work through that completely for Module 4. Module 5 is all about marketing. So you'll learn how to market and promote your book even before it's published. So you always hear, someone is having a pre-launch or a pre-sale. Those are strategies. You learn how to monetize, how to make money, how to market, how to promote your book even before it's published. Module 6 is the Amazon best-selling strategy. Because there's so much information to be shared, this module is standalone. Module 6 is all about marketing and planning your book for project success. That's it. 6 to 7 weeks. And there's also other trainings that you have access to. So as a bonus, when you register for the Writers Academy, the bonuses is hearing from an attorney, learning how to protect your book, and building a business with it. You get immediate access to this. You get access to experts in the field. So yes, I am interviewing an editor tomorrow, actually, but an interview is just basically tell me who you are, what you've done, who you worked with. You may have some Q&A, and that's the platform. When you have an editor come into the Writers Academy, it's more intensive. They share with you the different services, the different levels, how to interview an editor to see if it's a perfect fit. What are some questions to ask of your editor? How do you know if the editor is providing the service that you paid for? A graphic designer share with you what are some branding colors, what are some share with you some ideas and visuals around good book covers, and then again access to the experts. So you'll have access to experts in the field, authors, editors, graphic designers who have done the work and can share with you their mistakes so you learn from them, but also their successes. By being a part of the Writers Academy, you have full lifetime replay access of all the trainings. And of course, with me, you get the 60-minute book coaching strategy session. So even before the training kicks off in July, I schedule time on my calendar to meet with you one-on-one so that we can create your book coaching strategy session. So this is tipping the scales in your favor. You get the tools and resources you need immediately to jump to the head of the line on implementing a writing plan. You get a complete system that covers all the areas you need to equip yourself and achieve your dreams. Otherwise, why would you be here? You're here because you want to write a book. You're here because you want to publish a book. You're here because you want your book to be a success. You're here because you want to leave a mark on the world. You're here because you want to create legacy. You're here because of the impact and the influence that it can have on others. So I'm going to share this with you. I stand 100% behind the Writers Academy. So if you're unhappy for any reason whatsoever, let me know within 30 days and you'll get a full refund. No gimmicks, no nothing. The Writers Academy, 30-day money back guaranteed. 6 to 7 weeks of live training with guest experts, worksheets, and additional bonuses I've shared with you previously. The regular price, $13.94. Right? Today only, 50% off. That's $6.97 with options and access to a payment plan. After June 28th, the price will increase. The Academy kicks off in July, and I have 30 slots available. 30 slots. I'm getting tongue-tied. So I just wanted to tell you that if you were to pay a ghostwriter or a book consultant for an individualized plan, specific to you and your needs, it will be well over $4,000. Trust me, believe me on that. I work with multiple women around writing and publishing their books. We share, we talk, we strategize together, and I know what the market is saying. So a testimonial. This is a testimonial from a young lady who was previously in my academy. As a 2-time author, it is very rare that you find a writing academy that exceeds your expectations. Tamara Mitchell-Davis has done an amazing job with her 6-week writing academy. The information we received is unmatched. Because of her course, I am launching my 3rd book this summer, Leah. Leah will be one of our guest experts for the Writers Academy in July. And as a bonus, because I'm all about giving bonuses, as you can see, by signing up, you'll receive a free vacation. Who doesn't want a free vacation? So if going, to sit by the ocean motivates you to write, then you'll have access to white sand and turquoise waters. So how does this work? You sign up each week. A new training module is offered along with access to the guest experts and worksheets. This is the link right here. So once you sign up, immediately you download the ebook, you complete the information, and you attend the first training module. Remember, it's the welcome and introductions, laying the foundation, dispelling the myths, and creating a process to go forward. In addition, you have the 60-minute book coaching strategy session with me. The Writers Academy ultimately becomes your secret weapon to achieve clarity, confidence, and of course, achieve your goals. So, when will you finally stop trying to do everything else and start focusing on the right things that make the biggest impact for you? When you finally take action is when you will see progress. And I want you to remember something. If you don't remember anything else, action takers always win. If you want to write a book, the only way the book will get written is if you take action. Put words to paper, come up with a strategy, attend the sessions, etc. So that is our Writers Academy. So I am going to open it up now for questions. 1 second.